Thank you so much for clicking on this ad. I've been scrubbing the internet for a way to get rid of her. Just looking for anything that could help without any damn sleep while I'm locked away in my bathroom. I can't, or rather don't want to leave because she's always fucking with me. I won't let her win though. No. So I brought in my coffee pot, microwave with ramen, and I have plenty of water in here so I don't have to leave. After reading all this shit on her, I'm pretty sure that bitch back in Greece cursed me or something. Like, you can't appreciate a good prank? I pulled a Houdini on her with a buddy of mine and she was not entertained in the slightest. She threw him off and screamed at us while we just laughed. Then started talking a bunch of nonsense. We couldn't give three shits because our flight was the following morning. And that's when all this bullshit started happening. That next morning, everything went according to plan. Woke up, got our shit together, ate, and headed out to the airport. During the drive out, I kept seeing shit out of the corner of my eyes. But when I would look, nothing was there. It was even bad enough to make me swerve out of the way of nothing. Absolutely fucking nothing. One moment, a black van was merging into my lane, and then it was just gone. Almost hit the damn guardrail because of that shit. My buddy looked at me like I was crazy and asked if I was still feeling those pills from the previous night. I figured I was, so we just laughed about it the rest of the way there. Now that airport was the bane of my existence. Everyone was minding their own business whenever I was looking at them, but when I would look away, it felt like I was tripping balls. It seemed like they were all staring at us with their mouths wide open and darkness pouring out from their eyes and mouth. Then when I would shoot my head in their direction, they all just stared like I was making them uncomfortable. This made me feel crazy, but I know I wasn't. I'm not. I don't know anymore. Didn't help that my buddy held his composure well enough to make me feel like I was the only one seeing all this shit. We boarded the plane and all I wanted to do was get to my seat and close my eyes. I got the damn aisle seat while my buddy got the window. It was probably for the better though. We both went to sleep as soon as the plane took off. Then I woke right back up. Or at least I thought I did. I went from sleeping to watching the stewardess walking down the aisle, passing out peanuts and whatnot, and I couldn't see her face. I watched her pass out snacks to each passenger as her skin complexion shifted from black to white with each turn of her body. When I say black to white, I mean black to fucking white. 1 second she was a charcoal black and I could see and smell her cooked flesh bubbling. The next second she was a pale white with all of her muscles violently contracting. I could feel the energy flowing from her body, all under a pristine uniform. I knew I had to be dreaming. I rubbed my eyes, looked at my buddy, and started screaming. His eyes looked like the night sky, and his mouth was gaping open with waterfalls of darkness pouring out. He started saying that hymn I found out on the internet that went like this. I call upon Malene, saffron cloaked nymph of the earth, whom revered Persephone bore by the mouth of Kokitos, river upon the sacred bed of Cronian Zeus, in the guise of Lotan Zeus, and tricked Persephone, and through wily plots bedded her. A two-bodied specter sprang forth from Persephone's fury. The specter drives mortals to madness with their airy apparitions, as she appears in weird shapes and strange forms, now plain to the eye, now shadowy, now shining in darkness. All this unnerving attacks in the gloom of night. O goddess, O queen of those below, I beseech you to banish the soul's frenzy to the ends of the earth. Show to the initiates a kindly and holy face. I freaked out and started shaking him, but he didn't stop. I looked around to see all the other passengers were looking up at their mouths wide open, They were all saying the same shit while the darkness poured upward from their mouths and started to cover the ceiling of the plane. The passengers on the left side of the plane started to catch fire, while those on the right started convulsing like they were sitting in electric chairs. Then I woke up screaming, the stewardess shaking me. It wasn't even the lady from my dream, but that didn't make anything any better. Thankfully, it didn't take me long to calm down. I went to wake up my buddy, and he was stiff as a board. Apparently, he died in his sleep. I wonder if he was having the same dream. That shit fucked me up pretty bad. Had trouble sleeping altogether for a few days. Now that I think about it, that was probably for the better too. Made it easier to blame the shadows running past my peripherals and stares and the lack of sleep instead of me losing my freaking mind. The stairs. It was just easier to stay inside and only leave to eat or grab food. That's when I started to do all my research. Looked up that hymn that has been playing in the back of my head since the plane. And what did I find? Some shit on that damn goddess of fucking nightmares? Thought it was bullshit at first, but I just got lost in my computer trying to find something useful. Enough to have my phone get blown up by my friends and family for turning into a recluse. It's not my fault. I didn't have time for shit. I was going fucking crazy. I am going crazy. Anyway, my sister did a wellness check, and she did not approve of my living situation. The reason being was, it took me a while just to let her in the apartment because I wasn't too sure if it was really her or not. She helped me clean up my apartment and got me to shower, which I did appreciate after the fact. Most normal I felt in 3 days at that time. Then she asked if I wanted to go out to eat, which I kindly refused because I already had everything I needed. I should have listened to my gut and just stuck with the ramen, but she insisted. She took me to my dad's favorite mom and pop steakhouse so we could get some real food. It was sweet, but fuck her for taking me from where it was safe. My apartment, my bathroom, anywhere but in public. I can't handle the stairs or those fucking shadows. I just can't do it anymore. The place was busy as always with their usual crowd that appreciates the family atmosphere. She talked and talked while we ordered and waited for our food. She kept going on about how worried she was about me, even after the server had come by with our steaks and fries. I didn't even make it 5 minutes. But with that seamless transition into sleep, I couldn't tell one bit. Not until I was cutting into my steak and she asked me a weird-ass question like, "Do you remember ruining Sophia's life?" Stopped me dead in my tracks, because I'm sure you guessed it. She shouldn't have fucking known that. No way. No how. Right after that, I could just feel everyone's eyes on me. I just ignored everyone and kept eating while she asked over and over again like a track on repeat. I started getting dizzy looking down at the plate as she asked exactly the same every time. I watched my steak rot away like time was fast forwarding right in front of my eyes. Then it stopped, with the server stopping at our table. The room went completely silent, and I could not help but look up at her. She reached for my plate, and all I smelled was burning flesh, wafting while she moved. Flakes of her charred hand fell into my unfinished food, and when she grabbed it, and even more so when she pulled away, I could hear her skin crackling underneath her uniform while I worked my eyes up to meet hers. Never made it though. At least not yet. One by one, each table screamed in my direction until they burst into flames, starting with the one right behind me. I looked around the room while they all took their turns, wailing like banshees, with their pitted eyes until they were cooking too. Once I looked back in the server's direction, and she was gone with my plate, but my sister was staring at me with a pale face, her eyes pitted and her mouth hung down to her lap. I jumped out of my seat and plowed through anyone in my way who wasn't a walking torch. I made it to the front door and just started yanking on the thing, with my sister starting to scream at me. Sad to say, I could tell which one was her by her scream. I couldn't look though. Just kept pulling on that damn door. I pulled until it finally gave, and bam! Opened the door to the same fucking restaurant with the server standing right in front of me, pale as can be. She grabbed my face with her bony hands, and my eyes rolled to the back of my head. Felt like I licked an electric fence before walking up to the whole crowd gathered around me. They said I just started seizing up in my seat and then fell to the ground. Oh, can't forget that I was lucky to still be alive, because I fell with my knife still in my hand. Alive? I couldn't even remember what the server's face looked like, or the damn stewardess. Was she a goddess? Or am I just losing it out of guilt? I'm fucking losing my mind, and I'm lucky. I beg to differ. My sister tried to drive me to the hospital without my permission, so I had to get the fuck out. First red light, and I was gone. Haven't ran anywhere near that far since I was in high school. Didn't stop once, all those vacant eyes staring at me the whole way to my apartment. Nearly pissed myself looking for the key. All I could feel was everyone looking at me out of their peepholes. Every single one. I finally got my door open, barricaded the fucker with everything I owned, then locked everything in place with my recliner. That's the last time I fucked up. I had to catch my breath though. So can you blame me? For what? You ask? For fucking needing to sit down after running across town and moving all my furniture in front of the door. That's what! I sat down and didn't even know I fell asleep. Like back at the damn restaurant. All because of my stupid sister. It's okay. I forgive her. I was just sitting there, taking a breath and drinking a glass of water. That's when I realized I never grabbed one. So I went to throw it. The damn glass just smacked me in the back of my head as soon as it left my hand. It knocked me to the ground and everything went blurry for a bit. Out of nowhere, I hear my landlord start banging on the door, asking what the hell is going on. I went to open my mouth, but my tongue felt so heavy on the point where it started weighing my face down. The more I fought it, the heavier it got. So I just opened my mouth. It fell out like it weighed 1,000 pounds onto the floor. I couldn't lift it or even really turn my head around. But my landlord was freaking the hell out for whatever reason. I've never heard him so mad, and I couldn't say a thing. The angrier he got, the more the apartment shook. It rumbled whenever he raised his voice about how filthy I was while banging on the door. Just when I thought shit couldn't get any worse, it obviously did. Pieces of the furniture shot out from the barricade with each strike of his fist. Each one shot out in my direction. They all nearly hit me, except for one. It was one of my fold-out chairs. It flew so fast I had a hard time gauging where it was going, and it smacked my shoulder. Almost lost my tongue. But by then I wish I did. Now the door was clear. The damn thing splintered into 1,000 pieces that covered my back, and everything went quiet. He walked up behind me with his boots, making the floor creak with every step. I couldn't turn. I couldn't turn around to see him, or see up past his knees, even if I wanted to. I didn't want to though, because I knew it wasn't him. The landlord's steps split around me, and I felt a finger graze both of my shoulders. One felt like a torch melting flesh through my clothes, while the other made my neck and shoulder violently seize up. The two sets of legs stepped out in front of me, then blended into one as the walls behind them started to bleed black. Both hands reached down and cupped my face, sending me into a fury of pain I could never be fathomed. I could feel both halves of my face cooking in their own way for what felt like an eternity. Then I woke up, fell out of my chair, and busted my fucking face. My dad, brother, and sister have been pushing against my door for about half an hour now. I can hear my mom crying on the phone. Probably called the fire department or something. But they won't get me in here. Blocked the bathroom door too. Got the pot brewing, my 5th cup, and I'm trying to chip the toilet cover into a triangle thing. I read there's a thing called a paragamon tablet that is supposed to ward off nightmares and whatnot. So there you go. Figure if you've read this far, you feel some sort of sympathy for me. Or just think I'm crazy, like everyone else. I see one of 3 things happening. You send me some useful information on how to get rid of this thing. My family gets in and sends me to the crazy house, or I'm dead anyway. I just fucking die in this bathroom. Please. Please send help. Please.